Doctor, you have a book that you co-authored called Slim, Sane, and Sexy. What can somebody learn from that? Who might want to take a look at that
Yeah,
book?
because I've been doing this for over 25 years, that we wrote the book in 2007 or 8. You know how it
Something like
takes time.
that.
Yes, well, it took longer than we thought it would. Somebody says, write a book, and you think, well, I've been doing this forever. That should be easy. It just took time. The book is for anyone, any woman that's looking to understand their hormonal process better. And we talk about the conditions underlying hormonal imbalance, like adrenal stress, like insulin resistance, as well as talking about literally what the hormones are doing. And then especially coming into menopause, we look at ways to think about that, ways to, we have sections in each chapter called action steps that are about self-care and optimizing health. And so it's a combination of all of those things, and at any given time, each woman is very individual as to her preparedness to make changes in those areas. I feel part of the art of practice, and probably what I've enjoyed so much, is it's very individual. But we look to do the things that we can do to help someone feel well now, but then also set the stage for guiding them into a program that sustains good health long term, whether they're seeing me or not, in that sense. And so that book really is kind of a